What's up, everybody? It's wild in these CEO streets, man. It is wild. It's craziness. CEOs out here with their head on a swivel. You got some who done beefed up their personal security and stuff like that. On a serious note, though, I mean we're never supposed to condone the taking of a life of somebody else. We're never supposed to condone that, but it's not hard for a normie like myself to understand what would drive a person, to do these things we only see in movies, honestly. I think about, what's that movie, Law Abiding Citizen? Uh John Q, holding the whole hospital hostage and stuff. These are stuff we only seen in movies, but you know, what's the phrase? Art is an imitation of life. I mean, and whew, all it takes is one person to motivate and inspire a wave of people, and it just seems like we're increasingly seeing less and less good in the world to be inspired by. And a lot of people who can relate may take on that mantle and start plotting out things themselves. That's what happens with these mass shootings and stuff like that. People see one, agree with that person's manifesto, and then they're inspired to do something like that. They want to go down in infamy, such as that. But again, us normies understand how a person is driven to the brink by a system. Here in America, in a way, by a capitalistic system, that companies are making record profits quarter over quarter, year over year, at the expense of its customers, the paying customer. The healthcare field, I've said for years, as my premiums are taking out my paycheck every time I get paid, and I still have to pay a deductible before coverage is extended. It's a scam. It's a scam. All these premiums come out my paycheck, hundreds of dollars every week, every 2 weeks, or whatever your pay cycle is. And then I still have to pay a deductible. I still, it's only for 80% of coverage and whatever random allotment. And you still can deny me coverage. I had my own, issue with United Healthcare, the company the CEO was with, where me and my doctor was, making a plan for my health. As you get older, you get more self-conscious of stuff like that. And he put in some prescriptions for me, to help regulate some things, and went through the whole process, and they got denied. It denied a couple times after he tried to go different routes. They denied it. And I got an email to do a survey. I left a scathing review, like a terrible survey. So they scheduled it prompted them to reach out and schedule a phone call. And the rep, I'm speaking to the rep, airing out my grievances or whatnot. And I know it wasn't the rep. The rep is just following whatever procedure, protocol, or script or whatever that they're provided. And they're sticking to it, trying to explain whatever to me. But I'm not having it. I'm like, man, I pay too much money. It's like you guys say more than my doctor. You're not even in the conversation. You're not even in the room with me and my doctor as we talking about a treatment plan and stuff like that. But you're overriding the recommendations of a person who went to school for this. You're just saying no. And as I'm saying that, the rep, again, I'm sure this wasn't their thinking, but kind of just what they're coached. I worked in customer service for a different industry, but you're coached to kind of rebut different talking points. And what she said was, well, maybe it's more about taking personal responsibility, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, taking personal responsibility? Going to my doctor for preventative maintenance and preventative care is personal responsibility. I thought that's what we were supposed to do for our long-term health. Recognizing maybe I don't have the answers or can't do it on my own, Let me go to my doctor. And so, again, not ever condoning taking the life of anybody else. But as a person who watched far too many movies that have antagonists that sometimes you agree with, you understand. You understand what can drive a person to do these things. There's plenty of episodes of Law and Order. I was like, I get it. If I was in that boat, I probably would do this. I could see myself doing that. You know, the guilty person to me isn't always guilty. Maybe by law they're guilty, but by human emotion and sometimes logic's thrown out, but just by human you can understand that person's reaction, and you can see yourself probably reacting the same way. And it makes you wonder, you know, healthcare, housing, food, cars. Have you seen the price of a car recently? Buying a new car, I mean, good grief. I want a Jeep Wagoneer, right? I like them. And me and my eternal frugal mind is like, gosh, can I spend that kind of money for something that every mile you put on it is depreciating in value? Like cars in general, you'll never get that value back. And they want you to drop 65 grand, 70 grand, 80 grand, 100 grand on something that's not tip top luxury line or whatever. And what makes something luxury is another discussion for another day, but they want you to drop this kind of cash, be on the hook for paying this a month for 5, 6, 7 years for something that's going to quickly lose value and tear up and deteriorate. I just haven't pulled myself to do it yet, you know, and I haven't had a car payment in years. So to go back to now having a car payment, to then having a car payment and all like different kinds, those are different hurdles. And then you start exploring leasing options, but with leasing options, you got restrictions and you got to deal with it. Yeah. And it's like people are getting tired of services I pay for, stuff that's supposed to be of service to me, you know, coming out way better than me in the end. You know, nobody's just saying don't make money off people, or nobody's saying you're not supposed to make money. But when you're making such gross profits year over year, and you're not making these profits because you're just superior or have just top of the line quality, it's coming to the expense of what are you cutting? And something like healthcare, their profits is coming at the expense of the patients, denying people coverage, you know, telling people to go, recommending they go alternative routes that keep them sick. You know, they oftentimes say the insurance companies don't really want you to be healthy. They want you to be sick because they can keep making money off of you. You know, and you see how people can be drawn to these actions, man. And you know, so the internet's they praising this guy, and you know that you know, it puts you in a conundrum. It's like, I get it's wrong, but I get it. We tired of it. We tired of not getting any no value for what we spend, let alone return on our. It's just the value of what we spend. You can't have me pay for something and you provide no service. People losing loved ones and can't even go through cancer treatments, and our food is getting less and less healthy, and the quality is subsiding drastically, and housing is going up, you know, and we getting less house for more money, and our cars are going up, and you getting less life on a car than what you're paying. Like the days of like paying off a car and just having it for a while are like done, man, because that's if that car make it to to the end of that term, if it makes it. The parts are trash. The quality is trash. You get an fender bender and then your car insurance total out your car and leave you with nothing, except, and you still got a car note to pay. So it's crazy in them CEO streets. Like, a lot of decisions gonna have to be made. A lot of, the first company that shows they're truly for the people, I promise you, will be pedestalized, man. Just show you for the people. I know they have boards and investors and board of directors and all that kind of stuff like that, who their only quest is to increase their stock value. That's the dangerous game we play, the capitalistic dangerous game we play. And that's all they care about is their company's stock value. And that's the CEO's job, to maintain and improve their stock value. But we're reaching a nexus point. We're reaching the nexus where, how far can we push people before they start to push back? Politics is happening in politics. How far can you push people before they start to push back? That's all this whole MAGA movement is nonsensical as it is. That's all it is. People have felt pushed to the edge, and now they pushing back. We can agree or disagree with what they're pushing forward, but that's all it is. At what point can you push people before they push back? At what point can these big companies keep taking and taking? It's like that line Selena Kyle said in Dark Knight Rises, the third Batman of the Nolan trilogy. I can't remember verbatim, but she said, how can you take so much and leave so little for the rest of us? Us normies aren't asking to be on equal footing even. We're not asking to make as much money as we get. There's going to be the have and the have-nots. For one, let's not have so many have-nots, and don't leave us to have so little. While you out here, while you got CEOs making $15 million a year plus stock options for themselves and a yacht and all, and y'all can't even provide them a Christmas party. Your employees a Christmas party. You taking more and more and leaving less and less. It's already bad enough in the U.S. anyway. Salaries haven't caught up to inflation since the 70s. Inflation ain't new. So CEOs' heads on the swivel, man. It's dangerous in these streets. You can get got. And I think that pushback, it take one spark to ignite a forest fire. Y'all better be on your hands and knees praying this ain't a forest fire.